All right, for today's video, we're going to be taking a look at another Eldrador creature. This is the last one of these that I have for now, so we'll be back to different stuff for next video. But yeah, this time around we are taking a look at the stone monster. Very literal, just is what it is. It's a stone monster. But yeah, if you're unfamiliar with Schleich, the company that makes these, they're basically a German company that makes a lot of like hand-painted little models of different animals and wildlife and stuff like that. And the Eldrador Creatures line is one where they've decided to take that same concept and make kind of more fantasy creatures. And I absolutely love that because I like their animals, I do, but you know, like I don't need like a bunch of different wildlife and stuff like that, but I love this when applied to like fantasy creatures. I'm like getting a little bit more creative with like, you know, non-real paint schemes and stuff like that. And this guy I think just looks absolutely awesome. Now, as opposed to the other two that I've looked at, there's a few different sizes of these guys that they come in, and this is one that was slightly bigger. So he really has a really nice weight to him, and you'll see like how much bigger he is when we when we get into comparisons. But yeah, he's an awesome looking figure. He's got like you know all these guys, they mostly just have the sculpted pose, but they do have a few points of articulation. He's got 4 points of articulation to be specific. What's different about him in comparison to the other ones is the other ones like some of their points of articulation were just swivels on the arms, but he actually has big ball joints that they're connected to, so you can kind of get a bit more posability out of the arms. And then for the other points of articulation, his jaw can open and close with a little rocky scream there. I love that. And then he's got just a big cut at the waist for swiveling. And yeah, I mean, it definitely gets the point across. He feels like a lot beefier and meatier than the other two, just because like more plastic, bigger, and he's like solid like all the way through. He does come with a weapon just like they do. He comes with this little crystal bomb type thing that he can hold. Sometimes kind of tricky to get it in his hand, so you sort of have to like angle the crystals the right way. Like it's really easy to like pull it out of his hand, but sometimes it can be kind of a trick getting it back in. But it does have like a sort of sculpted indent here for where it's supposed to sit in his palm specifically, so that can be helpful for getting it back in the right place. But yeah, there you go. And he's got a few more of those crystals kind of poking out the back here. He's another one of the ones from the like stony elemental area. They're all kind of categorized into there's like stone, ice, water, fire, and jungle, I believe, are the 5. And yeah, him and the turtle, who both have this kind of like gem thing going on, are from the stone place. But yeah, he's a really nice figure. I love all the painted detail. Like his eyes just like really pop with that glowing green, and I love the mossy detail that they have on here, and just like all the nice rock sculpted detail is super nice. And that like I like him too because like I feel like what they're pretty good about is even when they have points of articulation on these figures, they're kind of pretty well hidden, just like based on the sculpting of the figures. You know, like you can hardly tell that there's like a cut there. I mean, you can tell if you're looking for it, but it doesn't break up the sculpt a whole lot, like on, you know, like some other figures where like if you rotate the boot, like, oh, we're seeing the bottom of his leg, you know what I'm talking about. Like you can clearly see the joints and they mess with the sculpt a little bit. Whereas like the joints on these guys kind of work with the aesthetic of them, which I feel like works pretty well. But yeah, you know, he's a big chunky figure for comparisons. Here he is with a pop vinyl. There you saw him with Skeletor, just a standard 6-inch action figure. Here he is with a deluxe Transformer. And here he is with Godzilla, just because I feel like these guys are pretty nice, like kaiju monsters as well. And then here he is with the other two that we've looked at so far, so you can see that size difference there. So you can see a little bit bigger than them, definitely a lot chunkier. And then he's got the you know, the biggest thing for me is having the ball joints versus just the swivels at the shoulder that these guys have. But yeah, they all look good together, even though like these two are supposed to be together and that guy's like from a different team. These were just the ones I was most interested in. I don't know. They tend to be a little bit pricey for being essentially figurines, which makes sense because they are hand painted and stuff like that. And it's a fairly small company compared to, you know, a lot of the bigger companies. So I get it, but it's not like the kind of thing that I would really want a ton of, just because they too tend to be a little bit pricey. Not too bad. Like this guy was like $25 and these guys were like $20. So it's not like breaking the wallet or anything like that, but it definitely is like for what you're getting out of it, you know, it's a nice figurine, but I don't know how much like play value you're getting unless you really just want to like slam them around or anything. It's not like Transformers where you have more of like a activity to do with it, if that makes sense. But either way, that's just me. I do think they're worth it. It's just not justifying me buying a lot of them, basically. Just picking out my favorites. But yeah, he's a really cool figure. I feel like the points of articulation that he has really does add like a lot of expression. Like you can definitely get some different vibes going out with him, where he's like, angry and throwing this cluster, or if he's just like kind of in a more chill pose and is just lumbering around. Whereas these guys like mostly had their stances, but then you could like raise their arms or anything like that. They mostly had the same sort of vibe no matter what. But I think the mouth being able to open really does add a lot to this guy. And I love just the clear plastic for the crystal clusters there. I think that looks really cool and really adds a lot of pop to him. But yeah, if you enjoy my videos, make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing. I do reviews every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And yeah, this is the last one of these guys we're going to be looking at for now. Maybe I'll get some more in the future, maybe not, but I'm pretty satisfied with what I've got right now. But yeah, here we have Eldrador Creatures by Schleich. This is the Stone Monster.